Hello again, everyone. This is Tina Mitchell with Memories Come to Life, and we are ready for another episode of Tool Tips with Tina. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you guys about one of my favorite tools, and that is the Border Maker system and the Border Maker cartridges. This system is one of my favorites because it's a little bit cheaper than the border punches, and it also is a little bit easier to use. Like I could literally make cut borders with this with my eyes closed, and I'll show you how that works. Before we do an example, I did want to explain that we have 3 different kinds of Border Maker cartridges. The cartridges look like, well, let's see, we'll start up here. Cartridges look like this. They're going to slide into the housing right here, and we use this to line up our paper. Okay, so the 3 different kinds of Border Maker cartridges we have are edge cartridges like these 2, and I'll show you those in a second. Then we have what we call the chain cartridges like these, and hopefully you can see those. If not, we'll see examples in a second. And then we have the knockout cartridges. All of these give you a different type of border. Some of these punch out a thin border that then you glue down. Some of these punch out along the edge of the paper and are not separate at all. And then we have some that are knockouts, which just actually leave holes in your paper in different designs that then you could put another piece under if you wanted that to show through a little more. So let's take a look at these and how the system works. So this is the Border Maker system. It comes with these 2 pieces. It also comes with one included punch, which is the picket fence one. The way this works is you've got this little bar here. This is going to help us line up our paper. You also have this piece, which you'll see is magnetic. So got a piece of scrap paper here. You store it like this. You flip it open it up. And this is why some people find this to be a little intimidating at first, because they're like, I don't know what flap to do what with. But I'm telling you, once you've used it once or twice, it is so easy, and it is really, really easy to use. Now, I'm just noticing, I think it's because my paper is a scrap. That was not lined up quite right. So I'm going to put that back in there. Try to make sure this is pretty even along here. Once we have the magnet down, I'm going to flip this down. Now, the reason we have this little paper guide here is so that once we put this on here, it will be the exact right distance from the edge. So I'm going to start with one of our edge cartridges. This one is the Sunrise Scallop. It's just a kind of a decorative border, and you'll see that in just a second. So we just snap it in. The only thing to remember on this, we've got a little button back here that helps it pop back out. Always make sure these 2 teeth are out. If you try to put those in this way, it can get stuck. So make sure the teeth are out. It snaps in. You'll hear that. Then, I maybe should do this before I put the paper in, but there are the little guide grooves here where those teeth fit in. And this is the part where I was saying there are 6 of these. And so I'm going to go ahead and maybe do a whole strip of this one, and then for the others, we'll just do a little bit. But it's super easy. I'm not even having to look because I'm just sliding it till it snaps into those 2 grooves made for the teeth. And you go all the way down. And you can see here, I maybe should not have chosen blue on a blue background, but you can see that this is an edge punch because it cuts away all this extra. Now you could save those and, use them for a little bit of, decoration. I'll probably just throw them away. But you have now an edge. You could use this on the edge of your paper, or let me grab another piece of paper. Yeah, I'll just grab a scrap. You can also, if this was, the edge of your photo, you could layer this on top. You could also tuck this, or if you had, again, who knows what this picture is I'm pulling out here, but you could also, put that under the edge of your photo or another piece of paper, things like that. You could cut off a section of this and, do different decorative things with it. But that's the general idea of an edge punch. And I did just want to show you one other edge punch. just to make sure we kind of understand that. So this one that I picked up is the notebook edge. me being a teacher and homeschooling my kids for 20 years, this is one that I use quite a bit in my scrapbooking. But you don't have to be a teacher or even have school pictures to do. The notebook edge is great for journaling. You know, if I just want to make a little tag that I'm going to journal on, I'll just do a couple cuts of this. You know, this makes a cute edge on the edge of a journaling card, or at the top, you know, you can make a little tag out of that. So those are two examples of edge punches. Okay, so you can see it cuts off the edge and leaves the edge of your paper decorated. So then you can put, just so you can see it, another paper under it if you want to really make it stand out. Okay, I'm just going to leave this paper where it is. And again, you have what some of us lovingly call punch poop left over. This one I didn't finish it, so it still has the little thing on it. But, you know, you can also use those as decorative pieces as well. Okay, so let's try one that is not an edge. Let's do one of the chains. So these are called chains because they're all going to be attached, and it's going to completely punch free from your paper. Let's start with this, since it's almost fall, acorns and leaf chain. And we'll start at the other end. And again, I'm just going to do a couple. Obviously, if I was going to punch this all the way down, this would come loose, and you would have an entire row of leaf, acorn, leaf, acorn. Now, I would not normally do a set of blue. I would probably do it in brown. I wish I had thought to get it out. I have an example of this where I did it in brown or caramel, and then I punched it out again in like orange and green. And so then I would cut those little leaves, glue them on top, and then I had like orange and green leaves with brown acorns. Okay, so that's an example, our first example of a chain. I've got one more just so you can see that, you know, this one's actually a shape, but sometimes the chains are just decorative. So again, we're kind of getting crazy here with all these different shapes, but that is one of our newer ones. This one is called, let me punch it or poke it out of there so you can see, or I can see. Diamond chevron chain. It's so pretty. I love to do these. You can do it again all the way across the top of your paper or just a small section. I did one layout where I did like 6 of these, then 5, 4, 3, to where it was just like a cascading thing. These are so pretty to look like, you know, almost like if you were going to do prom pictures or something, you know, just something special and decorative coming down the page. So let me grab, actually I was going to say I'll grab another piece of paper, but I think we'll just use the white one and look at our last kind of punch, which is called the knockout style. So you're going to see that why it's called the knockout style as soon as we do an example. So this is cardstock, so you can easily punch cardstock with the Border Maker system as well. Make sure that's pretty straight. But you'll just have to push down a little harder. This one is called Hydrangea Blossoms. Oh, I'm going to show you this one. There's a couple uses. Let me get some of this out of the way. So this one would have actually been really pretty on that blue, but I don't want to take the time to trim off the edge. So you can see this is knockout. If this was my full 12 by 12 page and I did this along the top, you would be able to see a whole strip along the top. You could also do the bottom. You could then, if you want to, cut this off and use it as a border. I'm going to put this under there, and you can see then you could put another strip under it so that you could see whatever that is. Now, one of the nice things about the knockout punches is that there are some great knockouts, punch poop that is left over. You might have seen one of my designs where I then took these punched out of prettier paper than just white cardstock and put a little dot of glue. There's 3 different sizes of hydrangea blossoms. And so you would then, you know, put this one down, maybe, you know, a different kind shade of blue or the pink, whatever kind of hydrangeas you like. And then another one on top, then maybe put a jewel in the middle. That is pretty time consuming, but oh, it is gorgeous when you're finished. Or you can use these individually, or you can throw them away. So with the knockout papers, you're knocking out a design, and those can then be used as embellishments. Okay, so let's get those out of the way. And then I wanted to show you one more of those knockout designs. This one, Festive Bursts. This is great for like birthdays. I think, you know, this could also be used. This one I have not used as much, so it's a little stiffer still. You could also use it in the winter. You can kind of see how that looks a little bit wintry. And then here again, these can be used as embellishments because you now have all these cute ones, especially if you punch these out in different colors and scatter them across your page with just a little bit of repositionable tape runner or a little dot of glue. Okay, so those are the three styles. Again, we have the knockout here. We have an edge punch here and here, if you can see that. And then we have the chains, which literally come loose from the paper. Okay, and again, you can cut this off. You can cut this off. It just takes the extra step, whereas the chains come out completely. So these, the Border Maker system is right around $40. Each of these is normally right around $20. I think right now the most recent pricing is maybe $21.50. But we do have currently 7 different cartridges which are on sale, anywhere from 20% off to 50% off. Again, before I show you those, I just want to make sure you guys realize how easy that was. You do not have to sit and, let me grab a punch. I love these punches as well. I'll talk about these in another video. This is one of our border punches, but when you go to do the border punches, I do mine straight on, punch, and then you have to line it up. So if you have any trouble with like your vision, or, you know, especially when it gets late at night, this is a little bit more difficult. Now it's really cute when you're done. And I use these all the time. They're a little bit larger most of the time than the Border Maker cartridges, but the border punches are a little bit more, for me, a little more time intensive, because you have to sit and line it up on the blue on each end to make sure that you're not gonna miss a section or cut off a pumpkin or something. That is what is the nicest thing for me about the Border Maker system, is that there is no guesswork. They fit into those grooves, punch, 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 punch. I literally can do it with my eyes closed, and you don't have to worry about it ever not being correct, or, you know, misaligning it or anything like that. So they're both great products. But if you, again, especially if you have a hard time seeing the differences here, this Border Maker cartridge might be a better choice for you. When we're done, I might show you my ridiculous collection of cartridges and punches and how I store them. But before we do that, because I always forget what I'm going to talk about next, I did want to show you the 7 punches that we still have on sale. Now not punches, but cartridges. Most of these are on last chance. So if you want them, let me know right away, and I will try to still get them for you. I'm hoping you'll be able to see them if I hold them up. These are anywhere from 50% off. So some of them are only $10 up to 20% off, so those are $16 and $17 a piece instead of the normal $21.50. So probably, let's see, this one is my favorite, and it is only $10. It's called you can see on top too, hopefully, if I kind of shimmer that around. This is the tiara chain. If you have little girls or granddaughters, you need this. It makes literally a line of crowns across the top of your paper. So cute. I'll try to keep these maybe organized. That was a chain. This one is a chain. You've kind of noticed they fit together. So you could just stack these. Now, eventually they kind of get a little front heavy, but I'll show you how I store mine in just a second. So these are the sunglass chain. I think that's what it's called, sunglasses chain. It makes a row of sunglasses all the way across the top. So that's a chain punch that will literally leave you a little row of sunglasses loose. We also have, this one is technically a chain punch as well. You're going to notice it has a little border along the edge, a little wave border, and then there's a canoe. So it's called the canoe wave chain because you can make it. I might show you this one because I think it's a little hard to understand what I'm talking about. You can make little canoes and a whole banner with this one. But you can also just, oh, hello, I gotta line it up. You can also just use the waves part of it, which is what a lot of people do, because, you know, I do occasionally need canoe pictures. My kids did canoeing at camp. We've gone on canoe rafting trips, but I don't use it all the time. So if I kept, I'm going to do one more, even though I'm going to punch into my pumpkins so you can see what I'm talking about. I think that's the right spot. Okay, so I'm going to tear this off. You can see that you can get a whole row of canoes, but you know what else you have is a row of scallops and waves. So if I wanted this and I just wanted the scallops or the waves, I could put this on the edge and look how pretty that is. Or I could put it this way and just have some little waves. Or, you know, you could also use your trimmer and cut that off and put it on top. Various things, but again, cute little canoes. We also have, let's see, I have got stuff everywhere. I've also got here, I think that's all of the chains. So then let's go with the edge ones next. This one is called Pyramid Keyhole. I did not use this one for a long time because I was like, well, I don't really know what I need to do with a pyramid keyhole, but I've actually started using it lately and love it. So just to save a little time on our video here, I'm not going to line it up. I'm just going to punch one out for you to get the right one. And this, I hope I'm going to line it up somewhat close. Yes, so you can see here, if that wasn't there, you would have that whole row, which I'm like, oh, that's cute. But look how beautiful it is if you put it as a border edge. You can do it just here. You can scooch it down. It looks very elegant if you had that whole row going across the top. So this one is on sale, and I think it's just beautiful. We also have this banner punch, which literally just punches, I'll show you the bottom, just punches banners across. It is a knockout punch. So it's going to punch out all these banners, which you can use in your scrapbooking, but it's also just going to leave those banners holes across the top of your paper. So that's pretty unique. I like that one. This one, I think this came out with our National Scrapbook Day, maybe 2 national NSDs ago. It's kind of hard to see that way. It is watering cans, and that's what it is. It does a whole row on the edge. It's an edge punch, so it does a whole row on the edge of little watering cans. So for gardening or anything like that. And then the last one, you know, I showed you first the tiara punch. The tiara chain is great for my girls' pictures. Well, let me tell you, this tire tracks is great for my son's pictures because that's what it does. It is, let me just show you. And again, I'm not going to get out the strip and line it up because I'm not going to actually use this, but I'll show you what it looks like. It is a knockout punch, and you can imagine doing that all the way across your page. It is tire tracks. And it's a pretty big one, so you could do those tire tracks across there. I use this for my son, and sometimes I'll do a whole strip of these, and then I'll cut that off, and I'll then just make borders or even diagonal stripes across the page, and it is super cute. Okay, so I am going to pause the video, and I will then take my camera down and show you how I store these. Okay, excuse the mess, but this is how I store my BMCs. This is great. It takes up very little space. This is all, I mean, I have a lot. There's the back side. Look how much space I still have. But I have my edge punches sorted away from my knockout punches, and then I probably have the most of the chain punches. This is something I bought online. There's a company called Stamp and Storage that is not cheap, but it is really, really convenient. And, you know, this is my little desk area, and it doesn't take up much room at all. Okay, so now I'm going to slowly turn you around. Don't judge me for all of the scrapbooking supplies I have. But look at my border punches. I have these two. I'll kind of try to point these, and half of this one are all the border punches. It's a lot. They're alphabetized. Over here, this one and half of this one, let's see if I can get that to sharpen up a little. Those are just our standard punches, so where it just punches out of shape. This right here is my horrible mess next to my Cricut, so ignore that. But again, look how much space that takes up. These are also stamp and storage, which I love because they fit in there perfectly. I can read. Let me get a little closer. You know, I put stickers on mine so I can read exactly what they are. I keep them in alphabetical order. I love it. But this is a commitment of space. Whereas the Border Maker system that I showed you tonight, ignore all my ribbons, this is a much tinier storage space. So if storage is an issue, that is also another reason you might want to consider the BMCs, Border Maker Cartridges, over the border punches. Now, having said that, you saw my collection. So it's not like I'm exclusive to one or the other, but if if somebody just forced me to choose, I would choose the BMCs because they take up much less space. They are cheaper, and they are easier to use, as far as having to stop and look and take time to line things up. You don't have to do that with these. So hopefully you saw something tonight that you liked and that you will be able to use to help your memories come to life. I always appreciate it. If you need to order something or have any questions about any Creative Memories products, please let me know. Comment, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. I will say I am a teacher and I'm starting school tomorrow. So my response times could be a couple days delayed as I get back into the rhythm of school. But I would really appreciate that. And I really appreciate it when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, when you follow me on my Facebook group. All of those things really help my business. And if there's ever anything I can do to help you, please let me know. Thank you.